Let's dig into the Super Empire Builder Xtra and DCC. So let's get started now. I'm Tom Kovichak, and this is Tom's Trains and Things. This channel was created to help other modelers who are in need of guidance in pursuing their dream of building a model railroad. And I know the last time I said I was going to do JMRI next, but I think there's a little bit more I need to cover on the Super Empire Builder, and that is how to program a locomotive, your very first locomotive with the code 03 in it. Okay, and I will be doing other videos besides, not in the beginner series, but using the LT1. I'll show you how to make a cable, make your own cables for it, and I'll also show you how to test a decoder with this, and we'll be able to test the cables with this also, the LT1. That's what it was made for. So we're going to do that in some other videos, not in the beginner series. So look for that when they come out. They'll be coming out pretty sure. And I'm not sure I have a decoder that has the wires on it. I think I have all the decoders I have for the locomotives that I'm going to put them on have the plugs in it. So I'm going to have to take a look at that and see. If not, then I'll have to try to rig up a way to put these wires in there so we could test the decoder before they get installed into a locomotive. And that's what this LT1 is for. It has 4 LEDs on it, and it tells you by the amount of LEDs on and what LEDs are on, as if the functions in your decoder are working or not. So before we get into this, I'm just going to do a recap on the DT402 and the Power Station DB150. I'm not going to, I've told you about this and how to hook that up in the last one. So I'm not going to go into detail on this, and I'm not even going to use it in this video, just other than just showing you what I'm doing. But basically, I'm going to program a new locomotive, one that I picked up at the train show back when I think it was the Tampa train show. And it's the B&O switcher, and it still has the code. Well, it still has the code of 03, and I'll be programming it to 9129, and I'll show you how to do that in this video. So let's get started with it right now. As we discussed in another video, the components of the Super Empire Builder are the manuals. There's 2 manuals to go with it. The DB150, the DT402, the UP5, and the LT1. Okay, now you're going to need a power supply, and that power supply is going to have to deliver at least 5 amps at 12 volt DC. Okay, and that's what this one is here. I got this one through Digitrax, but you could use any one. And the reason I got this is because it has the different voltages like I showed in the previous video, that you could select whatever voltage you want. Okay, today's discussion, we're going to concentrate on the DT402 and how to set this up right here. Now the first thing you're going to have to do is hook up your power supply. Okay, and I don't have all the wires hooked up right now. I don't have it plugged in, but for right now, these 2 pins right here on the end say power in. And it doesn't matter if you put the black or the red on the right hand side or the left hand side. It doesn't matter. Okay, and the other 2 on the right hand side are going to go to your track power. It says rail A and rail B. Now the center one is a ground, and when I have it hooked up in my layout, I hook it up at a grounding point with all my other items on the power bus that I have set up for this. Now, I don't have it here. This is just for demonstration. Like I said before, you have the O and G scale, the N and the HO scale. Now what I do is I keep it in the N scale because it's not that big of a layout, and I'm not running that many locomotives at one time. If I was running a lot more, I would flip it down to the HO part of it. Okay, the toggle switch on the right in the bottom position is offline, and the center position is the operation, the op, and the top is the run mode. Now in the op mode, that's when you want to program this. There are switches inside here that you could program through your throttle to change some of the settings. That is beyond the beginners series. That's for advanced users, so I won't cover that in this episode right here. The down position is off and the up position is run. I'm going to run it in a run position and in N scale. Now the UP5 can be hooked up with another cable to the B. Now these A and B are interchangeable. It doesn't make a difference what you plug what into, and you could plug as many components in down the line in series with these two. But when you want to run something and you want to check something, you have to have a throttle hooked up on it somewhere. But for right now, I have the throttle hooked up directly to the power unit. This right here I'm not going to hook up, but if you needed to, you could run a line from here to right there. There's two receptacles in the back, and there's one on the side. This one here could be used for both a connection to another device or your throttle. These two in the back are for connections for your LocoNet that come from A and B. On the front is the same thing with the throttles. You could put two throttles. You can connect two throttles on here at a time. The LT1 is this little gizmo right here, and you could use that for checking your cables that you make or for checking a decoder before you install it. It has 4 LEDs on there that give you that tell you the status of your device that you're checking. There's also a resistor in there to put in series, and I'll show you that later on how to hook that up to check one of your decoders. Now let's get started with hooking this up. I'm going to take this power supply and plug it in. Now, as you can see on here, you have the display on there, and if you could see down here on the power on the power button, it's lit up, and I have it in the run mode, and I have it in N. Okay, if I want to bring power to my tracks, I just hit the power key right here and the Y. But there goes the locomotive. Now, I'm going to be running the locomotive 8432 on the right-hand throttle. You have a left-hand throttle and you have a right-hand throttle. And it has detent positions in it. Now, I'm on the speed step number 3. Now, this one is programmed with 128 speed steps, and I need to clean my tracks right there. I just pulled them out because I had those are the tracks that I use for under the Christmas tree. So, in normal operation at 128 speed steps, it would take 4 complete revolutions to go from 0% all the way up to 100% speed. And that's what we're talking about. These 2 digits right here is a percentage of the total speed that can be accomplished. And most of us call it speed steps, but it's actually a percentage. That's 1% of the total speed that it could accomplish. A couple of things that we're going to talk about on the DT402 controller is the functions right here, which is this little thing right here on the bottom in between the two locomotive designators right here. And right now it says PW, that's for power. Okay, but the normal display would be FN, that's function. Okay, so function, we're going to use that to operate other devices on your railroad. Now I'll just show you a real quick example right here. Number 1's the bell. Number 2 is the horn. And sometimes number 3 is the coupler, but on the ones that only have sound, like only of the economy sound on it, the 2 is the long horn, and the 3 is the short horn. See, as long you could press it in, and then you only get a short horn out of it. Okay, and you'll notice up here, up on the top, 0, 1, and 5 is designated up there. Okay, let me undo 5. And that is what function you are using on your throttle. I'll turn the 1 off, and that'll stop. And I'll also turn the 0 off, which is the lights. And you can see the lights on the locomotive are going on and off. And as I do that, all the numbers on there, there's no more numbers on there. Let's shut the power off for a second. Okay, it's easy as that to turn the power on, turn the power off, and work the functions on an economy decoder. Now the decoder in there only has a few sounds, like the engine running, the bell, the horn, and the lights. So you use the bell. These 2 are for the horn, and the 0 is for the lights. In a decoder that has more functions, that they have up to 6 functions on there, and you could use that for different lights, and we'll get into that in another episode. But for this one here, this is an economy decoder, sound decoder that's in the locomotive. If you want to program the locomotive, you could go into, hit the program key, and address it. Normally comes up AD2 with an equal to question marks. Since this is already programmed, we can go beyond that, and I'll show you how we do that. But I'm just showing you from the beginning. That's the first thing that comes up, and if you have a locomotive that doesn't have a number in it, then you can program the number into it. I went and got one of my locomotives that I haven't programmed yet. I picked this up at a train show a little while ago, and I just brought it out of the box, and I'm going to program it now. And so I'll show you how to do it. The number is 9129, and so first thing we'll do is power on. Oops. Power. Yes. And you see the little dot up there, that tells you you have track power on, and also the track status on the DB150. Now this is programmed at 3, so I'll show you. And I'll reverse it. Okay, what I want to do, I'll hit the program key, and I want it to say PG down here, so I'll cycle through this until it says PG. Address 2, it says no. So what I want to do is I want a 4-digit address, so press the right one once. Now if this didn't say AD2, you would have to turn this knob and keep turning it until it came down to 82, because this over here is going to show you what's been on there the last time. So now that I have AD4 on there, I'll program in 9, 1, 2, 9. I'll hit enter and see it moves a little bit, and then yes. Okay, now to get out of that, we'll go back. Alright, we'll go to power. You can see the light right there, or the little dot is not there, so we'll go power and yes. And it's still on number 3, so we'll move this, and that's not going to move anything. So what we're going to do, we're going to select Loco right here, press the Loco button, and we're going to select 9129. There's 9129, and hit enter. And now we're programmed. That's as simple as that. Okay, let's turn the bell off. Okay, now say I want to change the, say it's 9129 and I just want to use the 2-digit address. So I'm going to go to program, and it's in PG, and it says AD2. And see, it says AD4. We'll go back to AD2. So I want to put in, say I want to put in 29. So what I could do, I could turn this up to 29, or else dial it into 29. Say I just want to use the last 2 digits on there. So I'll hit enter. Okay, it's programmed at 29 now, and we'll exit. We'll go power on. Now this is still saying 9129. See, nothing. Okay, we'll select Loco. 29 and hit enter. And there we go. Okay, now let's take it back and we'll put it back on 9129 again, so we can see this one more time. We'll go to program, make sure it's in PG. It says address 2, but we want to put it in address 4. Okay, so now it's in address 4. So now we could put the road number on there. 9129. Hit enter. Yes. See how it moves? That's telling you that it's taking the program. So what we'll do, we'll exit out of there, put power, put yes for on. And it's not doing it. Okay, there it is. Sometimes the Digitrax does that and you just have to play around with it. So it's on 29. Nothing. So go back to Loco, select, 9, 1, 2, 9. Oop. Okay. Exit. Loco. 9, 1, 2, 9. And enter. I'm back on that locomotive. That's all there is to it. Once you start playing around with it, you'll get better at programming, and then you could go in there and change your settings on the speed and other settings on there for like the lights if you want the lights on at a special time. Everything that you want to program, you could program from right here, whether it's a locomotive, whether it's a DS64 or a PM42, anything you could program in here, and you could also operate your turnouts from here if you have a DS64. And I think I showed you them on my last video, but if I haven't, I'll take a shot of those so you can see them also. I hope you got a grasp of how to use the DT402. And if you're using some other manufacturers other than Digitrax, the DCC components, I'm pretty sure it's the same as Digitrax as far as putting in the codes for the locomotive, putting in the numbers of the locomotive. If you would like to see more videos like this, or other videos on model railroading, or YouTube, or video editing, go ahead and hit my subscribe button. You know why? Because it's free. You don't have to pay a thing for it. These videos are free, and subscribing doesn't cost you anything either. It's free also. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that bell right there. That'll notify you whenever I have a new video coming out. Also, check my webpage. My webpage is up. I have a lot of new stuff on there. Like I said in my last two videos, I put up all the links that I had in the previous video for track planning. I put that up on my webpage, and shortly there'll be more links on there for useful model railroad stuff. Okay? It'll be for magazines, other layouts that you could see, just anything that I could think of. And you could go on my comments, and if you'd like to, submit a link to a model railroad related site that other viewers would like to see. Also, I have a PayPal link down there. Support this channel. You could support it on my webpage also. And leave a comment. Yeah, there's a comment section down there, and we got some pretty good comments on the last video there because some viewers don't like a few things. So that's what those comments are there for. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Share the video, tell your friends about it. When you leave a comment or give me a thumbs up, all those links pop up down there on the bottom of the page where you could share it to different social media. And that's about it for now. The next video now is going to be about JMRI for model railroading for beginners. I'll show you how I hooked it up to mine. I have an old Windows XP computer. I use that for JMRI, and I have surround sound on it too, so I use it as background sounds throughout my model railroad. But that's what I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover hooking up JMRI and hooking up possibly some surround sound or any kind of sound for background sound, and for using, I don't have my cell phone here, but for using the cell phone or a tablet through JMRI to run your locomotives. I did a video way back months ago showing you how to hook it up on a tablet, but I'll do a refresher on it and I'll give you a little bit better instructions on it. So look for that. And the LT1 is coming up. I'll show you how to do that, not in the beginner series, but I'll do another video off to the side to show you how to use this. And also I'll give you a refresher on soldering the feeders to the rail. I showed you how to tin on another video, the stranded wires, but I'll put that little bit of it on there, how to tin again, and then I'll show you how to put some feeders on your track and hook it up to your bus wires also in another video, not in model railroading for beginners. So that's 2 of them coming up related to what we're talking about here with the Digitrax and hooking up the Digitrax. So we'll see you, and take care. Bye-bye. And keep them comments coming. Oh, yeah. You know, the links everywhere. Don't forget, click on those.